Luke 22. In verse 31, and Yahweh said, and the Lord Yahweh Shai said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired to have you, that he may sift you as wheat. Right? Because what? That's what Satan wants, right? Satan, again, that First Peter's, and that's probably why Peter said what he said in 1 Peter 5:8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is walking about as a roaring lion, seeking whom they devour. And that's probably why he was inspired to write that, was because Yahweh Shai said this to him, that Satan's desire to sift you was weak, right? So I believe that inspired him to say that. Yahweh Shai tell him that Satan wants to take him out, right? So Peter taught that what? Be sober and be vigilant. Understand who your enemy is, how he attacks, and how to fight him back with love, right? Because he wants to get you out of here. He wants to have you. He wants you to come onto the dark side, so to speak, right? He wants you to do what he wants you to do. He don't want you to operate in the spirit. He wants you to operate in wickedness. First Peter's 4:12. Beloved, thinking not strange concerning the fiery trials, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as ye are partakers of Hamashiach's suffering, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy. So this isn't a surprising thing, right? We're going through these trials because Yahweh Shai went through these trials, right? We're trying to prove ourselves. We're trying to prove exactly what Yahweh Shai proved, which was we can be the light in that dark world, right? We can fight evil with good, right? We're not going to allow darkness to shut out our light, right? And that's what Yahweh Shai proves here, right? That's why no matter what was thrown at him, he fought back. No matter what happened, he fought back, but in love, right? He didn't have to physically fight back. He didn't have to physically go. He didn't have to go into the flesh. He fought everything back with the spirit of love, the Holy Spirit. That's how he fought everything, right? And he wants to walk in that same, he wants to be the same people, right? Be that light in the world, that spark. And despite what's going on around you, despite who comes up against you, you're going to still remain in the spirit of love. We got to walk that same path that he walked, right? I want to read the armor of God in a different translation. Let me see. So Ephesians 6, I'm going to start at 8. I'm going to start at 11. It says, wear the full armor of God. Wear God's armor so that you can fight against the devil's clever tricks. See? That's the whole point of putting on that armor. Being able to what? See the tricks. Peep the setup. And when you look at sports, it doesn't matter. Well, I'm not going to say that. But like boxing. When you know who your opponent is, what are you doing? You're watching the film of him. You're seeing his tendencies. Oh, every time he throws a jab, before he brings it straight back, he drops it a little bit. Every time he moves to the left, he throws the right. Every time he moves to the left, he throws the uppercut. Right? You're watching all his fights, and you're trying to study him. You're trying to get a game plan based on the holes in his armor, right? Same thing with sports. Like I said, when you're that quarterback, you coming up, you scanning defense. You like to see you seeing on third down. This team likes to blitz this person, and then that person's open, right? All you gotta do is set up a block for this guy, and then as soon as he get blocked, you throw it over top to the guy that's open. And you notice because what you've seen in film study, right? So that preparation allows you to see what's going on, and that's what we're doing right now. That should be the goal, to put on the armor of God to prepare you, right? So you can peep the setup, you can see what's coming, and you can know how to fight against it, right? It's easier to fight something, A, when you know how to fight, and B, when you know what's coming. And like I was saying before, the most of Satan's tricks, you already know what's going to happen, and you already know how to respond. Even if it's different scenarios, it could be the same tricks. And like I just said, clever tricks, right? Because Satan is clever. He's not an idiot, right? Even if you know what's coming, that doesn't mean you can stop him, right? So yeah, Satan he's clever. He got clever tricks, right? And armor of God itself, there's no fault in the armor, but there's a fault in us, in its flesh, that we cannot. That makes it hard for us to fight against Satan the way we're supposed to all the time. It's not like Paul was saying, though. I believe this is Paul. Yeah, it was Paul that was talking about how there are things that he did in the flesh that he didn't want to do, but he did it because he was in the flesh, right? Although the spirit is willing, sometimes the flesh is weak and it can't fight as hard as the spirit wants to fight. So verse 11, wear the full armor of God. Wear God's armor so that you can fight against the devil's clever tricks. Our fight is not against people on earth, right? See, our fight is not against people on earth, and that's the problem, right? And that's one of people's biggest problems. A person that come against them, and they'll think the person is coming against them. Yes, in the flesh, the person is coming against you, but what's manifest in the spirit is Satan put a spirit on this person to come against you. That's not necessarily the person in front of you that's coming against you. It's the spirit on that person, right? Because there's no good people and there's no bad people. There's only spirits on people at certain times, right? There's like a person who's generally a bad person can do things good, and just like a person who's generally a good person can do things bad, right? So there's no good or bad, just the spirits on a person, people at different times. That's all it is. What's up, brother? This is it says we are fighting against rulers and authorities and powers of this world's darkness, right? So we're going up against. So we're going up against basically things that are set up in this place, right? Like they made it okay for same-sex marriage. Like we're going up against, like, people in high places set these things up, and we're going up against those things via Yahweh Shemeshach. We're going up against those things. We're declaring those things to not be right, right? We're going up against the things that people in high places have set up in this place, right? It says we are fighting against the spiritual powers of evil in the heavenly places, right? Because we're also fighting against evil in what? In the heavenly places, right? Obviously, he's not talking about the actual heavens, right? It's obviously the translation. So it's not talking about the actual heavens. It's talking about people here on earth, right? The vessels of God, people who are supposed to be following God that are corrupt. By what? The things that we just talked about. Things that were set up in this place, right? It says that that is why you will need to get God's full armor. Then on a day of evil, you will be able to stand strong. And when you have finished the whole fight, you will be standing. So stand strong. So